Some courtroom moments leave everyone speechless, not because of the verdict, but because of how the convicts react when they finally hear their fate. In this video, we're counting down 5 of the craziest convict reactions after being sentenced, moments that shook the courtroom and stunned the public. If you're fascinated by true crime and real courtroom drama, make sure to subscribe for more gripping stories every week. Start with Diana Lovejoy. You would not believe how far some people go to escape a divorce, and Diana Lovejoy's case is a chilling example. Diana was a fitness instructor and YouTuber in California, but behind the scenes, her bitter custody battle with her ex-husband, Greg Mulvihill, had turned into something much darker. In 2016, instead of settling things in court like most people, Diana and her gun-obsessed boyfriend, Weldon McDavid Jr., plotted to kill her ex. He shot Greg in the side, and miraculously, Greg survived. That shot should have killed him, but somehow he managed to call 911 and stay alive. The investigation that followed was straight out of a crime show. Police tracked down phone records, surveillance footage, and even found a cache of weapons and gear in McDavid's home. Eventually, both Diana and McDavid were arrested. Now here's the moment that stunned everyone. During the trial, when the jury delivered the guilty verdict, Diana collapsed in court, like she just fell to the ground, completely unconscious. The courtroom had to be cleared. It was one of the most dramatic reactions to a verdict I've ever seen.
Versus Weldon K. McDavid, defendant. Case number SCN 363925, DA number OCD 980. Verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Weldon K. McDavid, guilty of the crime of conspiracy to commit murder.
Alright, we're going to need to take a break. You're done. And if we could have, also, Jeff, you can have the jury go back into
Joy was unconscious for a time, then taken to a hospital for treatment. Court was adjourned briefly, then back in session for the 2 verdicts to be read against McDavid. He also found guilty on both charges.
She was sentenced to 26 years to life for attempted murder and conspiracy, and McDavid got 50 years to life. Think about that. A woman who once made fitness videos on YouTube is now serving life in prison because she couldn't handle a breakup. Now, let's talk about a case that felt more like a movie chase scene than real life. The unbelievable crime spree of Ryan Stone. Back in March 2014, this guy went on one of the most insane multi-vehicle police chases Colorado has ever seen. And I'm not exaggerating. He didn't just steal 1 car, he stole 3 in a single day. And here's the worst part. One of those cars had a 4-year-old boy in the back seat. Stone carjacked the vehicle right outside a gas station, with the child's mother just steps away. Imagine the terror she felt watching her car and her baby. He eventually crashed the final stolen SUV and tried to run, but officers tackled and arrested him right there on the street. When it came time for sentencing, the court didn't hold back. Ryan Stone was hit with a 160-year prison sentence. Yeah, you heard that right, 160 years. The judge called it a reign of terror, and honestly, it was.
Where you're sitting on the phone and you're crying so hard that you can barely speak. What they didn't play is the things where you say over and over and over and over how you wish that you could sit with every single family and tell them how horrible this felt after it was all over. Sometimes you make light of a situation because it's an extremely horrifying situation.
One that endangered dozens of lives, all because of one man's selfish, drug-fueled decisions. What makes this case so disturbing is how reckless and heartless it was. This is Jaleel Smith Riley, standing in a Cincinnati, Ohio courtroom. The man police say confessed to a robbery turned deadly. The victims? A young couple just sitting in their car, doing absolutely nothing wrong. It was a quiet night when 20-year-old Porsche Brooks was in her car with her boyfriend, Aaron Martin. They had no idea their lives were about to be shattered. According to police, Smith Riley, along with 2 others, approached the couple's vehicle, intending to rob them. But when they realized Aaron didn't have any cash, everything spiraled into unimaginable violence. Smith Riley shot Aaron in the head, leaving him with permanent brain damage. But it didn't stop there. As Porsche Brooks sat there helpless, Smith Riley turned the gun on her and fired. She fought for her life in the hospital, but 3 days later, she died from her injuries. As the courtroom fell silent, Porsche Brooks' mother stood up to speak and delivered a heart-wrenching victim impact statement. It was a moment that silenced even the coldest hearts, and it reminded everyone watching that behind every statistic, every headline, there's a family, forever changed.
But he killed me. Mentally, emotionally, he killed my identity as a mother of 3, as a family of 4.
With recorded confessions as evidence, Judge Charles Kubicki denied that and moved on to sentencing for the crimes. That included an apology.
I'm sorry. Go back and win. I'm so sorry. I just want to come home with it.
This is somebody that feels genuine remorse. This is somebody that thinks about this every day, and he knows that he can't go back in time and undo what he did.
Smith Riley's possible penalty, life without parole, or 23 years behind bars. His grandfather called him a good man who deserves to come home.
This is Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari, a deeply religious farming couple from Cedar Springs, Michigan. But instead of making headlines for their quiet rural life, they were charged with the murder of their 10-month-old daughter, Mary Welch. According to police reports, the couple admitted they had noticed that Mary was thin, underweight, and clearly unhealthy. But instead of seeking medical help, they did nothing. Why? Because of their religious beliefs and a deep mistrust of doctors, medicine, and the government. Let that sink in. They saw their baby struggling. They knew something was wrong. And still, they chose not to act.
Hey, how you doing? How are you? Happy that I'm with you now.
Do you think you've done anything wrong?
Well, like I said, there are certainly some things that I would do differently in hindsight. Nothing is keeping me up at night.
No doctor, no checkup, nothing. On August 2nd, 2018, Seth made a 911 call after reportedly finding Mary cold and unresponsive in her crib. An autopsy revealed that baby Mary died from malnutrition and dehydration. Her little body had been wasting away in plain sight. Both parents were arrested and charged with felony murder and first-degree child abuse. And during their court appearances, you can check their behavior.
You're both charged with what they call felony murder while in the perpetration or attempted perpetration of child abuse in the first degree. They're alleging that you murdered one Mary Welch. That is a charge called homicide felony murder. It is life without parole. It requires a DNA sample to be taken upon arrest, which is often like a cotton swab or in the inside of your cheek. The second offense that you're both charged with is called child abuse in the first degree, where they're alleging you knowingly or intentionally caused serious physical harm to a child. They're talking about this Mary Welch. It is a felony, possible penalty of up to life imprisonment or any term of years less than life.
This is Esteban Carpio. Police were questioning him for the stabbing of an 85-year-old woman in Rhode Island. In the interview room were Carpio and 2 detectives. One of the detectives left the room to get water for Carpio, leaving just him and Detective Sergeant James Allen. Carpio then grabbed Allen's gun and shot him twice, killing him. He jumped out of a 3rd-story window and made a run for it, but was apprehended just 45 minutes later. At his arraignment, Carpio entered the courtroom wearing a mask designed to prevent him from spitting and biting at others. His face was also in rough shape, which stunned the courtroom. But it wasn't so much Carpio who had the most shocking reaction. It was his family members who began accusing the police of brutality. However, authorities stated that the police did not use excessive force.
Step off.
I'm not guilty, Stephen! It's gross police brutality. He was mentally ill, and he needed help, and we couldn't get it. We tried. And he didn't.
And that Carpio's injuries were sustained from jumping out of the third-story window and during the struggle with law enforcement that followed. Some of these reactions remind us just how heavy a sentence can hit, not just in years, but in the weight of knowing there's no going back. Thanks for watching. If you found this video compelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more intense courtroom stories and real-life crime breakdowns. Thanks for watching.